It started with a pause I didn't expect, the kind that settles between two people, when words almost arrive but don't, and the air becomes aware of itself. I noticed it when the elevator doors closed, when the city's reflection slid up the glass, and when I realized I was suddenly listening to someone breathe. Before we begin, I want you to stay with me till the very end. This story isn't meant to be rushed. It unfolds slowly, and what comes last gives everything meaning. And please make sure you subscribe to the channel. It costs you nothing, but it helps me continue sharing stories like this. Tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I read every single one. Stay till the end. I promise, this story won't leave you unchanged. I'm old enough to know the difference between interest and danger, old enough to recognize when something small carries weight. I was 47 that winter, comfortable in the life I'd built, familiar with its rhythms, loyal to the promises I kept, even when no one was watching, which is why the pause mattered. Her name was Lena. I learned it because she said it once, lightly as if it were nothing. We were neighbors, technically, same building, different floors, but strangers in the way people can be for years while sharing walls and elevators. That night, the elevator stalled between floors. A soft jolt, a brief flicker of light, then stillness. She laughed first, not loud, just a breath with sound in it. "Well," she said, "that's inconvenient." I smiled more to myself than to her. There's something about being enclosed with a stranger that sharpens awareness. Every shift of weight becomes a signal. Every silence gains meaning. We stood apart at first. Polite distance, respectful. I pressed the help button. A calm voice promised assistance. 10 minutes, maybe more. We waited. The building hummed faintly around us. The elevator felt warmer than before. I became aware of my hands, the space between us, the faint trace of her perfume, something clean, not sweet. "You live alone?" she asked, then winced. "Sorry, that came out wrong." I shook my head. "No harm done, and no, I'm married." She nodded, accepting it without drama. "Good," she said. "That means I don't have to wonder if I imagined the ring." I glanced at my hand, then back at her. She wasn't teasing, just observant. "I live alone," she added after a beat. "Which is fine. Most days." We felt quiet again, but it wasn't empty. It felt held, as if something delicate had been placed between us, and we both knew better than to touch it. Minutes passed. Or seconds. Time does strange things in small spaces. When the elevator jolted back to life, I felt an unexpected flicker of disappointment. The doors opened. Our floors were called. She stepped out first, then paused. "Nice to meet you," she said. "Even like this." "Especially like this," I replied before I could stop myself. She smiled, not wide, not flirtatious, just a look that stayed. With me longer than it should have. That should have been it. But awareness, once awakened, doesn't return quietly to sleep. Over the next few weeks, we crossed paths often. The lobby, the mailroom, brief hellos that carried more than greetings. Conversations that lingered half a second too long. We never crossed a line, not even close, and yet something deepened. It showed up in the way I noticed the sound of her footsteps, in the way my attention shifted when she entered a room, in the way I found myself editing my tone, lower, slower, without intending to. I didn't tell my wife. Not because I was hiding anything, but because there was nothing to confess. No act, no betrayal, just a quiet awareness I carried carefully, like something fragile. One evening during a power outage, Lena knocked on my door. "I hope this isn't strange," she said. "My flashlight died and you seemed steady." I let her in. We sat at the kitchen table, lit by a single candle. The shadows softened everything. Conversation drifted from trivial to personal, as it does when the world narrows. "I like how calm you are," she said at one point. "It makes people tell the truth." I met her eyes, held them. "Careful," I said. "Truth has consequences." She nodded. "So does silence." The air thickened, not with heat, but with meaning. My pulse slowed. I could feel the exact moment where choice lived. I stood. She stood too, instinctively. We were close now, not touching, just close enough to feel warmth, to sense intention. "If I step closer," she said quietly, "I won't pretend it's an accident." I breathed in. "Let it out." "And if I don't step back," I replied, "it won't be either." We stayed there, balanced. a perfect stillness, desire contained, not denied. Then I moved, not forward but sideways, opening space instead of closing it. She exhaled, a soft sound that held relief and regret in equal measure. "Thank you," she said. "For what?" "For knowing when not to." She left soon after. No drama, no promise. Just a shared understanding that something real had been seen and honored. That night I returned to my bed, to the life I chose. I held my wife a little closer. Not out of guilt, out of clarity. Weeks later, Lena moved out. I heard it through the building grapevine. I never saw her again, but sometimes when an elevator pauses between floors, I remember that moment of stillness. The weight of a choice, the quiet power of restraint. Some connections aren't meant to be taken. They're meant to be felt, and then set gently back where they belong. And somehow that makes them unforgettable.